Danny Masterson's wife was a real wild child. Danny Masterson got 30 years to life in prison. He was found guilty of raping 2 women. Both victims spoke in court, with the first saying,
"You are pathetic, disturbed, and completely violent. The world is better off with you in prison."
Masterson remained impassive as he listened to her. He maintains his innocence, and his attorneys plan to appeal. The second woman told the judge,
"I knew he belonged behind bars, for the safety of all the women he came into contact with."
Masterson's wife, Bijou Phillips, was reportedly devastated. She was terrified of having to raise their daughter alone. But who is Bijou Phillips? Phillips and Masterson are both Scientologists. They tied the knot in 2011 and share one child. Phillips comes from a famous lineage. Her father, John Phillips, sang in the Mamas and the Papas. Her mom, Genevieve Waite, was a model actress. The couple split when Bijou was a child. She was placed in foster care. Neither John nor Genevieve was deemed fit to care for her. John eventually won custody of her. She was in the 3rd grade by then. When she was just 14, Bijou quit school. She moved into an apartment near 5th Avenue in NYC. Bijou had her own housekeeper. She quickly became a tabloid fixture. Bijou was notorious for her excessive partying. Among her friends were fellow socialites, Paris and Nikki Hilton. In a later interview, Bijou said,
"If you were 14 years old and able to live on your own, in an apartment in New York City, and you got invited to all these clubs, and you got a bank account, and you had a car service you could call, so that you could go wherever you wanted, what would happen?"
Bijou drank and took drugs, including cocaine, ecstasy, and even heroin. She also became a teenage model. At 13, Bijou appeared on the cover of Interview magazine. Her 1995 Calvin Klein underwear ads caused a scandal. The ad campaign sparked a child pornography investigation. Bijou regularly flashed her breasts to photographers. At 15, she lost her virginity to junkie rocker Evan Dando. Bijou dated Cher's son, Elijah Blue. When she grew tired of him, she threw his stuff out of the window. She tried to French kiss a girl interviewer. She almost sliced a man's finger off with a cigar cutter in Spy Bar. She dated John Lennon's son Sean. After they split up, Bijou trashed a restaurant in LA. Then she returned to New York and hooked up with actor Stephen Dorff. When Bijou was 17, her friend, Davide Sorini, died of a heroin overdose. The fellow Manhattan socialite was just 20 years old. Bijou fell apart. Her father sent her into rehab, which he'd gone through himself.
"I was 14 years old.
Bijou said of those days at 21.
What was I supposed to do?"
In her 20s, Bijou ditched modeling in favor of acting. She appeared in Almost Famous, Bully, The Door and the Floor, and Choke. She even had a starring role in the TV series Raising Hope. The show ran from 2010 to 2013. It was at that time that she married Danny Masterson. They'd been dating for 7 years when they married in 2011. Bijou and Masterson had a private ceremony at an Irish castle. Less than 3 years later, they welcomed their daughter, Fiona. In May 2023, Masterson was convicted of raping 2 women. Bijou wasn't prepared for the verdict. She never expected Danny to be found guilty. Bijou appeared at the September 7th sentencing. She didn't say a word throughout the trial.